people are experiencing symptoms of physical or mental stress. While we know stress can harm our health, can it also be good for us? Joining us to tell us more is health and wellness expert Anastasia Turchetta. Welcome back to Bloom, Anastasia.
Thank you for having me. This is such, I know it seems like an oxymoron to say that stress could be good for us, but in actuality, it helps us become more resilient. And resilience is the process of adapting well to adversity, trauma, and tragedy.
And I would imagine that all comes with learning to manage it, because if you're at this fight or flight and you're always running and gunning and stressed out, that's bad for your health. But you're saying there's a way to use stress to your advantage.
Exactly. And it's first is to identify, like, what are the top factors? So it would be work, family, finances, the loss of work, loss of a loved one, a pet, even pandemic stress from isolation to vaccination. And then recognize physically, I don't know about you, but I know when I'm stressed, I clench my jaw.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I just notice that, and then I either get a headache, and then your body is telling you something. And emotionally, what's important to recognize is you can become more irritable and less patient, and I don't like to say that, but you recognize that in yourself, and then chronic stress leads to anxiety and depression.
So what are ways to identify if maybe you are experiencing physical or emotional stress?
It would be by setting healthy boundaries, because the truth of the matter is, Gail, we know that we cannot eliminate stress, but by setting healthy boundaries with our time, emotions, and energy, we can grow through stress.
So how will healthy boundaries help us become more resilient? Because you do kind of tie stress to resiliency.
Absolutely. So with time, let's say it's almost like resilience learning. I like to say resilience learning because we're reframing how we view stress. So with time, let's just say you recognize the symptoms physically and emotionally that we just said, and then you get to say to yourself, okay, what do I have control over with today? And what do I get to do about it? So that would almost be like a trigger for you to say, oh, I'm going to use my time 1-minute breathing exercise. Maybe it's 3 to 5 minutes guided meditation. And then you look at your energy level. Are you depleted in your energy? Are you feeling that little less patientness coming over you, if we will? For me, it's get outside for 10 to 15 minutes. And when I do that and take a walk, studies have actually shown by taking a walk outside, you can increase your you can improve your memory, increase creativity, and decrease anxiety. It's good for you.
That's good, and the research backs it. As you said, you see that lady there where she was taking a walk. So stress can sometimes leave us paralyzed because it can deplete us so much, but you're saying if we can channel it the right way, we can build resiliency. Why is that so important?
It's important because we have life stressors happen all the time. And then the more that we make it through a life stressor, we gain self-confidence. And self-confidence is exactly why it's good for us to build, because that helps with everything else. It's almost like celebrating a stress management milestone.
Yeah, you know, it's like, I did that, I got through it. That means
you got
I can do it again. Yeah, you can do it down the road. Very, very interesting way to look at it. Do you think now more than ever we need to find these ways to rechannel our stress during this? Because you mentioned the pandemic. We're almost out of it. You know, the light's at the end of the tunnel, but still there's a lot to juggle, a lot of changes going on, even readapting to our old lives.
Right, right. And you're absolutely right. I think it's paying attention more to ourselves, being more mindful and self-aware, because your body and mind are telling you, they're giving us signs. It's just looking at us and going, okay, I have to reserve my energy and my emotions, and I do have control over that.
You do, because like I find myself putting way too much on my plate.
Yes.
And I've learned one way is to prioritize. There are some things I got to take off my plate and put it on tomorrow's plate. So a lot of it is just finding that own balance, and a lot of times we're our own worst enemy when it comes to stressing ourselves out.
We really are. I like to say it's living in a work-life wellness lifestyle, because balance, we're always out of balance. No matter, to your point, whether it's the pandemic or anything, the real key to focus on is getting through a lifestyle in wellness.
Do you think that the overwhelming yourself is exclusive to women or men too? Or because as a mom, but I guess men juggle a lot as well.
They do, but actually, studies show that women experience stress more than men.
Do they really?
Yes.
I believe it. I believe it, because you try to wear so many hats, and I guess at the end game, it's balancing all those acts.
Exactly.
And learning to just take one step at a time.
Exactly. If you have too many balls in the air, you can't catch them all.
Any other tips to manage stress and turn it into resiliency?
I'd say listen to your body and focus on finding the resources that apply better for you, because every person is different.
Yeah, so somebody might like yoga, somebody might just like a nice stroll with the dog outside.
Right.
Just whatever it takes to find that balance. And again, as Anastasia says, you don't have to spend a lot of time. It could just be 5-10 minute quick break, and research shows that's going to bring it down a notch.
Yes.
All right, Anastasia, thank you so much for joining us.
I
on Bloom
appreciate
today.
it. Thank you for having me.
This has been so interesting. And if you want more information, you can visit AnastasiaTurchetta.com. And there is more Bloom just ahead. Stick around.